today's video, we're going to be talking about why reflection is one of the most important things that we can do as leaders, and why it's something that I look for most when I am interviewing leaders and considering promoting somebody into leadership. If you're new here, I'm Krista Smith, and I'm on a mission to help ambitious women thrive as leaders by sharing what I've learned and am still learning as an executive, a lifelong optimizer, and a beauty school wannabe. If you find my content helpful, please like with the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notify bell so that you'll be notified every Friday when I drop new content. Also, share with your friends, and let me know what you'd like me to make videos on in the comments section below. Let's get into it. The first example is, how can we intentionally reflect on decisions that we make? One of the key purposes of a leader, and one of the biggest values that a leader can bring to a situation, is their judgment and their ability to make decisions. And so decision making is a category that we as leaders need to reflect on constantly so that we can continue to hone our ability to make better and better decisions. When we're making a really large decision, record the information that we have at the time and the assumptions that we are making at the time. Because the art of decision making is deciding which path to follow, knowing that we don't have all the information that we wish we had. And so we need to get really good at getting the information that we can and making assumptions that help us to arrive at a better decision for our organization and for our people. What most people do when we reflect on decisions, if we reflect at all, is we say, how did it turn out? And that's fine. It either turned out the way that we wanted or the way that we didn't want. But that is not indicative of whether your leadership process was a good one. The only way that you can know whether or not your leadership process was a good one is if you have the ability to reflect on your process with the information you had and the assumptions you made at the time. This is why it's important to record those things so that you can have an accurate reflection. Now, when the decision was made and whatever the thing was has happened or not happened, and you reflect, pull out that information that you had at the time and ask yourself these questions. Were my assumptions valid? With the information that I had, was there anything different that I could have assumed that was available to me? Also, was there information that turned out to be relevant that might have been available to me if I had approached the situation differently? If your answer to that is yes, hallelujah, fabulous. Make a note of that and try it a different way the next time. Another example of reflection is how we behave in certain situations. As you know, the way that a leader behaves is absolutely under scrutiny at all moments of every day, in every action and every step that we take. Reflecting on our behaviors and continually improving them is one of the ways that we can hone that inner game of leadership. For this section, I'm going to give you an example of a behavior recently that I have reflected on, of my own. So, some fabulous team members of mine had the courage to come to me with some really bad news. The cost of something had turned out to be much bigger than we had budgeted for, and it was really unexpected. Now, unfortunately, I didn't react the way that I wish that I had. I am sure that my face showed a bunch of disappointment and worry. I was shorter in my words than I wish I had been. And I probably taught my team that they shouldn't come to me with bad information. And that is absolutely the downfall of any organization, is if people who know what's going on are unwilling to tell their leader what's actually going on. And so through reflection, both quick reflection and a little bit longer reflection, I played that over in my head and how I reacted, and decided that I needed to do some things to fix that, and that I needed to make that a learning moment, both for me and for my team, to allow them to see me vulnerable. And so I apologized one-on-one with the people that I needed to apologize to. And I articulated my intent, and that is to create an environment where it is safe to bring bad news so that I can make better decisions. The other thing that I did was that I reflected in what was my frame of mind when I expressed those behaviors that I wish I hadn't. And I was exhausted. It was the end of a day. I was trying to get out the door. It was already late. I had decision fatigue. I was frustrated with other things. And what I learned is that's a warning zone for me. When my folks said, "Hey, Krista, we need to tell you something," what I'm going to do differently next time that I didn't do this time is take a minute and decide how I want to show up in that moment, knowing that my highest priority is to create an environment where people feel comfortable bringing me the truth, and reflecting internally on how I can show up to make that safe for my folks. Without self-reflection, I might have just moved on. The lesson would have been taught with my people: don't bring Krista bad news. And my ability to make good decisions and their ability to bring their whole selves to work, to be honest, and to have real conversations with me would have been compromised terribly. In these two ways, self-reflection is incredibly important in our leadership journey. Now, here is a caveat. We have to have the right mindset so that we can reflect without beating ourselves up inside. What that mindset looks like is that we have to see leadership as something that is wicked hard, something that's full of complexity and paradox, that we're never going to get perfect, and be able to have self-talk of compassion and to be able to have a learning growth mindset. If we go into a situation and a journey of leadership expecting that we're going to get it perfect every time, and if we don't, we're either not going to reflect or we're going to beat ourselves up when we make mistakes. If we go into the situation knowing we're going to make mistakes, committed to learning and getting better, and we have that mindset, then we will be creating the groundwork for ourselves to be able to grow. And if we do this really well and transparently to our team, we can teach them how to grow as leaders themselves. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, again, please subscribe and hit that notify bell so that you get my new content. And please let me know what you think about this idea of reflection and of the inner leadership game, and give me ideas on what else you'd like us to discuss together. Thanks, and have a great day.